Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on sports and things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, will Anthony Davis be the Lakers' best player this year and moving forward? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out our Dreamerspro podcast that we have linked in the description below. Be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro premium platform that we're launching the first week of January. And also be on the lookout for Dreamerspro.com, which is our sports website that we're really excited to launch this January to kick off the new year the right way. So anyway, we'll definitely keep you guys posted on that. So let's just get into this topic here. I think it's something that's pretty interesting looking at the Lakers. So y'all know the Lakers had their great they had a title run last year. They won the NBA title last year, and congratulations to them. There was a 17th banner tying the Boston Celtics for the most championships in the NBA in NBA history. So that was very impressive. LeBron James picked up his fourth NBA ring, his fourth NBA title, which for me, I already had LeBron in my top 5. So kudos to him. Anthony Davis finally got the monkey off of his back and finally won his first championship. We all knew that even before Anthony Davis came to play with the Los Angeles Lakers, we knew that he was one of the best players in all of basketball. I mean, it was very easy to see. On some nights, you can even argue who was the best player in the league, like the type of numbers that Anthony Davis would put up. And if you guys don't really believe me, let me just give you guys some of Anthony Davis's numbers. If I look at his numbers, okay, let's look at his numbers last season. All right, the guy averaged 26 points per game, shot 50% from the field for the season, 33% from the 3-point line as a power forward. Then he shot 84.6% from the free throw line. He got you 9.3 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.5 steals, 2.3 blocks. I mean, what else do you have to say about AD? Like, really, what else do we have to say about the guy this season? I mean, given it's just 2 games, so these averages are going to change drastically. But so far, the guy's averaging 23, 7.5, and 3.5 assists per game. But obviously, these numbers are going to change because the season is very early, shooting 58% from the field, 43% from the 3-point line. So Anthony Davis is an all-world player, one of the top. I would probably put him as a top 10 NBA player. There are a lot of great players out there, but I have him in the top 10. You have, the top 5 is kind of hard because you got LeBron, Kawhi, KD, Stephen Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those are probably the top 5 best players in the world, and then AD makes it in the second half of that list. So Anthony Davis is a great player, and he's had a great career, and he finally won his championship and got the monkey off of his back. That was the one thing that was kind of holding him back, and he's done it, right? And y'all even saw in Game 2 in the Western Conference Finals when he hit that game-winning shot against the Denver Nuggets. All of these things, helped cement his title run this year and cement his legacy, really. Like, now this guy is a legitimate champion, and a champion for the Lakers, which is on a completely different level. As a Kobe fan, for those of you guys who have been following the channel, when Kobe was winning those titles for the Lakers, those 5 championship titles, I mean, it's one thing to win an NBA title, but it's another thing to win it with the Lakers. I mean, it just pushes you into a different stratosphere because of the fan base. The fan base is so huge. I mean, it's a global fan base. So, kudos to him. Now, LeBron James, we all know about LeBron James. The guy has an amazing career. And last season, the guy even led the league in assists last season. I mean, if we look at his numbers last season, LeBron James had a sensational season. He averaged 25.3 points per game, shot 49% from the field, 35% from the 3, which is pretty impressive for him. He shot 70% from the free throw line, got you 7.8 assists, 7.8 rebounds, 10.2 assists, and got you 1.2 steals at the age of 35. So the guy put up some fantastic numbers. But, LeBron James is going to turn 36 years old in 3 days, depending on when you guys are going to see this video. We're publishing this video on December 27th. In 3 days, LeBron is going to be 36 years old, right? So he's getting up there. It's not like I think people assume just because this guy keeps himself in tip-top shape, just because he spends over $1 million a year on his body, reportedly, that, he's Iron Man. He's never going to get old. He's a human being, right? He can't get old. If you look at LeBron James's highlights, his dunks and all of this stuff, he doesn't have the same lift as he used to have before. And that's not a knock on him. That's just time. Like, that happens to every single person. So looking at him this year, I think it's going to be wise for the Lakers to start kind of establishing that Anthony Davis is going to be the number one option for this team this season, right? LeBron, in my opinion, doesn't need to be, ran into the ground, doesn't need to even play all the games this season. He doesn't have any point to, there's no point that LeBron James needs to prove to anyone. It's not like as if he plays all 72 games this season, oh my God, this is adding something to his life. It adds nothing to his legacy for him to play 72 games this season. He shouldn't be pushing himself this season, to be quite honest with you. I think if he's between 55 to 65 games or so this season, I think that'll be perfect for him, because really they should be saving him for the playoffs. Really, at this point in his career, I think LeBron James is playing for titles, not necessarily for regular season accolades. Now, Skip Bayless feels like, no, he needs to pad his numbers. He needs to stat pad his numbers to catch up with Jordan. That's an argument that Skip Bayless likes to make. Is it true? Maybe. I don't know. That's what Skip Bayless thinks. But for me, I think the focal point of their offense this season needs to go through Anthony Davis, because number one, he's good enough, right? That's one thing we have to pay attention to. He's good enough. He's one of the most versatile players in the NBA at the power forward. This guy last season could have either won the regular season MVP award and could have won the Defensive Player of the Year award, and he actually had better defensive numbers if you look at some of the traditional, stats on defense. The guy had an amazing season last year. So Anthony Davis can be the focal point of that team. He's only 27 years old. He's still a very, very, very young guy. He's still in his prime, like in the middle of his prime. He's still very young. So there's no reason that they can't depend on him this season and really use some of this time to just manage LeBron James and sort of get him closer to the finish line. Now, some people may have some issues with that and say, well, wait a minute. Anthony Davis has also been known to not be so durable. Some people say if you play him too much and you run him into the ground, he may get injured, and that's a possibility. But guess what? At a certain point, you gotta play the guy, because LeBron at a certain point will retire. I don't think the Lakers brought AD just for the now. I think they brought him for the now and also for the future. They're looking to make this guy the cornerstone of that franchise moving forward. And when LeBron James retires, he's going to be the number one option on the Lakers. It's not like as if they have some other player that they're grooming. It's not like as if it's going to be Kyle Kuzma or somebody like this. It's going to be him. So at a certain point, he has to start taking the mantle and saying, listen, I can lead you guys, and LeBron, you don't need to push yourself this hard. And for me, he's good enough to be the best player on the Lakers. Look at his numbers. One could argue he was their best player in the regular season last year if you go and just look at the raw numbers. So for me, I think that's something that the Lakers need to start looking towards, because it's going to put them in a better position come playoff time when LeBron James is fresh, right? But if they're looking like, we need to get LeBron up to 65, 70 games and this and that, I think that's the wrong strategy to have. And I think Anthony Davis should start assuming that he is going to be the head of this team. Maybe not this year, the following year, because next year the guy will be 37 years old and AD will only be 28 years old. So for me, that's what I think. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think that the Lakers should start to gear Anthony Davis as their best player and start to focus on making him the focal point, or do you think they should still rely on LeBron James? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.